Hello, my name is Elite and welcome back to my channel. In this video I will explain the meaning, definition and the example of all phrasal verbs of come. Come about. The definition of come about is happen, take place. Now let me show the example of come about phrasal verb in sentences are. On the other hand, a reduction in costs can come about through elimination of waste. They do not come about in response to repentance on the part of the people. How it would come about he did not know, but he felt sure it would do so. Any possible solution to the Irish question can only come about through dialogue. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come across. The definition of come across is find someone or something by chance or give a specified impression. Now let me show the example of come across phrasal verb in sentences are. The weirdest formulas for generating primes that I've come across are these. Richard Guy is the first farmer I've come across who does not shun publicity. Here is a listing of all the videotape formats I have come across in my travels. You will come across shoppers who are rude and will test that patience. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come after. The definition of come after is to follow, to succeed, to be the successor of. Now let me show the example of come after phrasal verb in sentences are. This merely triggers the animal's chase instinct and it will come after you. It showed how desirable her man found her if he feared others might come after her. Had he decided not to come after all, or was he out on an urgent case? I come after finishing the domestic chores at home, which is not far off. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come along. The definition of come along is progress, to make progress or accompany. Now let me show the example of come along phrasal verb in sentences are. I volunteered to sleep there tonight, if the love of my life is willing to come along. Down the road, better games will come along and the price will drop. The other kids come along for support, and end up having a blast too. The chances were slim that anyone would have come along the road to help her. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come apart. The definition of come apart is to break into parts or pieces. Now let me show the example of come apart phrasal verb in sentences are. She says without telomeres the chromosome and gene the genes it holds would come apart. In fact, the plastic or cloth covering can come apart, exposing the foam padding. Check your dog's toys for damage, and throw away toys that are starting to come apart. Try only interweaving half of the books. Do the books come apart? Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come around. The definition of come around is to change one's mind, especially to begin to agree. Now let me show the example of come around phrasal verb in sentences are: Josh said he wouldn't come around me until after the wedding, didn't he? She is extremely standoffish and will only come around once every couple of days. However, that's part of growing up, helping your parents come around. And archivists seem to have come around to recognizing his leadership qualities. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come away. The definition of come away is to become separated from something away. Now let me show the example of come away phrasal verb in sentences are: Ireland was unfortunate not to come away with a victory, which they deserved. Examine them for yourself and come away with your own conclusion. The fluid that had come away earlier was in fact to show, albeit a very runny one. She loved me and was ready to come away with me yesterday, but I said number. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come at. The definition of come at is to get to, especially with effort, or to attack, to harass. Now let me show the example of come at phrasal verb in sentences are: I come at you head on and watch you brace for impact but not move away. He didn't come at first, and she frowned, assuming he was messing with her. You've come at the worst possible moment. I have a meeting in 5 minutes. The general issued a command that all of them should come at 6 o'clock. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come back. The definition of come back is return to a former state, usually a desirable one. Now let me show the example of come back phrasal verb in sentences are: He didn't come back until morning and there were police cars all over the place. If I go now, he won't be as angry with me, and maybe I can come back tomorrow. If I get to come back, I want everything I love to be together in the place I love. I don't know what's gotten into you lately, but I wish the old Carmen would come back. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come before. The definition of come before is to appear publicly in front of someone superior, or to be of greater importance. Now let me show the example of come before phrasal verb in sentences are: Let my supplication come before you, deliver me according to your word. His right to eat should come before anyone else's protests and discomfort. A true intimate connection can't come before trust has been established. In the air transport business, safety must always come before profit. Now let me define the next phrasal verb of come. Come between. The definition of come between is affect negatively or cause discord between someone. Now let me show the example of come between phrasal verb in sentences are: he hated them, too, and how they'd always come between him and his world. It is deplorable that anyone should come between a child and its parents. Illustration may come between the text and the reader's own mental imagery. Where does the dividing line come between yesterday's news and the history books? Please like, share, subscribe and support my channel. That's all for this video. See you in next video.